to the NFL Rundown, brought to you courtesy of Run Pure Sports and Run Pure Bets. I'm your host, Astaire, joined by Tyler Hicks and Titletown. We've been doing this all year. It's our final Monday night football game of the year for Title to give out those great cores of the winning Showdown Slate. And what a weekend we had. I don't know how much exciting football we had, but definitely there was money to be won and there was takes to be had. I was telling them on the show, hey, if we have more time, I might have been coming to you from the local community college where I would have been running victory laps around that track. That's how I felt yesterday, as a lot of the takes I had given on this show all year really seemed to come true. But we'll get into those one by one and start with you, Titletown. What was your overall takeaway of Super Wildcard Weekend?
Yeah, not the most exciting football, I don't think, but the best teams won, which will set up for the best rounds to come, I think. So next week is going to be great football. I think the best teams won their individual matchups, and now we get the best teams left. And obviously all favorites except the 49ers. I know you guys are all over 49ers, Big T. A lot of people were over the 49ers against the Cowboys. Tonight's game definitely seems like the toughest, I think. I think besides that, pretty much every game we got right. Tonight's game will be interesting. We'll dive into it, but the best teams are playing when it matters, and I'm excited for next week for sure because, you look at the Packers, the 1 seed. They got as tough of a team as you can have in the 49ers right now. You look at the Titans, they got Joey Burrow right there. We got Mahomes, we got Josh Allen. This is going to be a lot of fun next week, so I'm excited. There's a lot of money to be made this week, and playoffs are always fun, so excited to talk about it.
All right, Tyler, any overall thoughts? I know that probably a pretty sad night there out in Pennsylvania, right?
I knew it was coming.
Yeah, so but a lot of people didn't, right? Yeah. A lot of people had delusions.
A lot of people held hope, but a lot of smart people knew that was coming. So I was prepared. It happens, but we'll see. Hopefully we trade for Minshew. Hopefully they don't send Haskins or Rudolph out there as the starter next year.
Haskins.
Yeah, we just can't have that. But other than that, football.
If Tomlin makes Haskins a good NFL quarterback, Tyler, you probably won't even talk to me anymore because you'll be like, this guy will not shut up.
Yeah, well, good luck with that one, Spread. We'll see.
Yeah, I know. I think that might be even a little too much even for him, right?
I was going to say, Spread, what was going on yesterday with Mike Tomlin? I was watching it. What was going on?
Okay. Oh, we'll get to that. We're going in order, but
we're gonna skip over that part.
No, we're not. But we'll talk about it. But let's go in chronological order. So let's start with my team, the Las Vegas Raiders. Okay, I went to my buddy's house. We're obviously pretty disappointed at the end, right? But pretty level-headed Raiders fans, right? We didn't think we were winning the Super Bowl this year. We were happy to play a meaningful game and come down to the end and title, right? As gamblers, we don't stick to our original opinions, right? I'm ready to say it. This Cincinnati Bengals offense is elite. And the fact they only held them 26 points, I felt was a great job by this defense. I thought they could have put up a lot more. I was pretty happy with the performance overall. And my takeaway was that Cincinnati should have scored more points, and they might have the best offense in the AFC, man. I'm watching, and it's the difference between having a really good quarterback, Derek Carr, and then a game changer, an elite guy, Joe Burrow. And the difference is, right, when they get pressure, right? Carr's very good. He's not really going to give you a lot of turnovers. He's going to get rid of the ball, do the right thing. Coach pats him on the back. Great play, guy. That's how they coach you, right? Joe Burrow's not doing that. He's running over there, getting the official to blow the whistle, and then still throwing a touchdown. I was pretty bitter about that, right? But at the same time, you give credit to Joe Burrow for his ability to keep things alive, and he's not giving up on plays. His guys know that too. To be fair, he's throwing it to way better guys as well, right? Zay Jones is your number one target. What was going on there? Darren Waller still don't look to be 100%. I don't know. I had a lot of fun watching that game. Tyler, we had teased it. Unfortunately, the teaser didn't come through, and we'll get to that. But I don't know. The Raiders kept it close. They were respectable, ready to move on to next year. I'll be interested to see how they approach it, right? If a Harbaugh's available, you take advantage of that. If not, I'm not against running it back with these guys. I was actually pretty happy with what I saw on Saturday. Maybe that's just years of watching a losing team that I'm not ready to break my TV when we lose a playoff game. Title, we'll start with you. And give me some feedback on my Raiders. But then, of course, let's talk about the team that's playing next week, the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, no, I think everything you said makes a lot of sense. They had a chance to go and tie the game. If you want to go for two in that situation, you had a chance to go win the football game, which is pretty much all you can ask for. We're on this show every single week, so we kind of know each other's takes and all that. But I've been a Derek Carr fan for a while now. He's a great leader. There's no doubt about that. This team dealt with so much adversity, but the guy can still throw the football. Obviously, some decisions are more questionable than others, but like we go through some of these teams in the regular season talking about the quarterback position. Like, I think you have to bring Derek Carr back. He has a locker room. He has the leadership. They were just, one play away technically from tying the game and having a chance to win it against a Bengals team that I've been touting all year. I've been high on all year. I said plus 800 was like my long shot bet to win the AFC. Like, that's a really good Bengals team. I mean, I think
now.
I think they're
I
going to
like
go
having
and
that in your pocket. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're going to go beat Tennessee. I mean, we'll see if that's the case, but you know how bullish I've been on this Cincinnati team. Like, the Raiders just played them really well. As far as, for the Raiders, like, you got to go new coach. You hope the right one comes. You keep Derek Carr. You hope Waller gets healthy. Yeah, you do need one more weapon. Like, Zay Jones can't be – there's Hunter Renfrow and stuff, but you need an outside wide receiver because then Waller, Renfrow in the slot. Then you get that one guy on the outside. Like, that's a whole difference maker in that offense. Josh Jacobs was banged up a lot during the year. He looked healthy on Saturday, and Josh Jacobs, when he's healthy, that's a good running back. Like, that's a good offense. They got Max Crosby, changes games on that defense. Like, if I'm a Raiders fan, I like what you got. The offseason, you got to get it right. The NFL is pretty tough to hold up a Super Bowl trophy, but as a Raiders, I think you got to be happy with the season. As far as the Bengals, I mean, this is a tough football team, that's for sure. Joey B, as we talk about, guy's been a stud for a long, long time. Chase, Mixon, Tyler Boyd, Uzoma, who's coming on. T. Higgins went 1 for 10 only. Like, they got all the studs out there. We've been preaching that. Like, you can see talent. They can put up a lot of points. The defense is what's the big question that we talked about. I'll ask you. I'll come right back to you, Spread. What are your thoughts on the defense and how much they've improved week in and week out? Because that's what you
so much better than I thought. That dude Carl Hubbard's a stud. In the beginning of the year, we ran down Eli Apple and the Azumwe guy from Dallas, right, who looked terrible in Dallas. He looks pretty good over there, right? So maybe he's just in the right system now. I was pretty excited about that. Penny Payne, hit the like button. Yes, I always forget that. I would appreciate that. That definitely helps us continue to produce this content. Blake Hagee says, longtime Raider fan, not a bad game to get another weapon. And we need a different OC. Yeah, we got the oldest OC in the league. I actually didn't know that until they ran that stat during the game, but you watched the game. It made sense.
Do need a new one, too. That was the difference you could see. Like, just the play calling, the schemes. Like, Joey B and all this stuff, but like, you got to design something a little better and get one more weapon. Yeah, I think he said it perfect.
Yeah, why were Renfrow and Waller going underneath on that 4th and 10, right? Get them all in the end zone. Get your best target, especially your tight end guy that can play basketball. Post someone up and make a catching coverage. Don't throw it to Zay Jones. I mean, anyways. Tyler, enough of me rehashing that game. Give us your thoughts on maybe, what the Raiders do this offseason. Do you think they bring in a new coach? Do they bring back Bisaccia? And then, of course, some projections for the Cincinnati Bengals going forward.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a good chance they bring him back because it's just how he brought the team together. He pushed them to the playoffs after everything that happened this year. So unless they get a big name, I think he's going to be the coach next year. I think Carr will be the quarterback. Just like Title said, got to get another weapon in there. Got to upgrade the defense in a few spots. And then maybe, of course, upgrade the offensive line. I think you also got to get one other running back to offset Jacobs' workload, or he's just going to have years of just looking unhealthy for half the year. And then certain games where he pops off and then they give him a ton of carries. And then
you can find those pretty easily.
They should be able to find one of those pretty easily.
Yeah.
Like Drake should have been their guy. He was out for the season. So it was like that. They kind of got hurt by there. But other than that, I think you just got to take it, be happy with the season after everything that happened. But as for Cincy, I mean, this Tennessee game is going to be big. If Derrick Henry's back at 100%, good luck because that defensive lineman's now done for Cincy. I think he's going to be big. But if anybody's just going to pick it up and just light up Tennessee's defense for like 35 to 40 points, it's this offense. So I think the winner of this game makes the Super Bowl out of the AFC, Cincy or Tennessee.
I'm not surprised you said that. You were so down on Josh Allen and stuff, and like the cheat. Like, I'm not surprised.
They played the perfect game, and I don't think I don't think they just flicked a switch and they're going to keep doing that.
No, I expected you to say winner of this goes to Super Bowl. To be honest.
Nope.
All right, yeah. The last thing I was mentioning as we're watching, man. Fox needed to redo that show Prison Break there for that last drive. We need Henry Ruggs out there, and you guys have both said it. One more weapon. Let's see what happens. Obviously, a lot of adversity. Hey, and maybe that's just because I like the Kings. I like the Raiders, right? Like, just haven't seen a good team for so long. I was just happy. So maybe in a couple years I'll get back to throwing things around like the Yinzers were, right, Tyler? But, I was happy with the season. The evening game. So, hey, right, Tyler? I said, hey, I wanted some action. I should have said, okay, I got to tease it, right? They'll at least keep it within double digits. You said, yeah. I said, hey, I'll match it with the Patriots, right? They'll do fine, right? I'll just get a couple plus 11s, right? And so I left my buddy's house. I'm driving home as the Patriots game started. It was like 21-0 when I pulled into my driveway. I'm like, what is going on here? I missed it. I turned the game on. Didn't keep my attention very much. NBA was on at the same time. The New England Patriots absolutely got smoked. All the limitations of Mac Jones that we have mentioned throughout this year on the show came to surface. Not necessarily surprised there. Surprised that the Patriots weren't able to stop Buffalo. If you're a Bills fan, you have to be happy about, there's no doubt about it who the Kings of the AFC East are. Start with you, Tyler. What do you think there about the Bills and the Patriots?
Yeah, the Bills legit played a perfect offensive game. They didn't punt the ball once. They scored a touchdown every time they had the ball.
Yeah.
I just don't think you can replicate that multiple weeks in a row. So, kudos to them for playing that game against a great defense too. But, they did exactly what you have to do to beat the Patriots. Take away their best thing. Get them away from the run game and force Mac Jones to throw the ball. So, that's what they did. And they did the perfect game of it. So, 47-17 is a great score, but I don't think they reproduced that performance again against KC.
Man, after a feeling for the New England Patriots, right? We turned it around pretty quick, right? We had one down year, and now we're back. That had to be deflating.
And you see some of those touchdown throws, like the one where Allen was scrambling around, he lofted it up over. Dawson Knox falls down, taps his knee down. The other one's a 40-yard bomb to Sanders over the top. He catches it looking like this. So it's like, I just don't see many of those happening again. Like, they happened that week. Every play worked. So, just like I said, kudos to them.
Yeah, kudos to them. Too bad about my teaser. Title, what are your thoughts there on the Patriots and the Bills?
I was happy to see. I love Josh. I had a lot in DFS. I got a lot of Bills stacks. That actually probably be Bills Packers would probably be what gives me the best chance in the best ball drafts. I don't know if you know about that, but it was them and the Bengals. Another upset. I know we're getting into a little bit next week. Looking ahead, though, I said I got Bengals. I see they're +3. I'm on the Bills this week against the Chiefs at +2.5. I just love the explosiveness from this offense. Josh Allen's legs. You see that they're going to call running plays. They're going to call QB sweeps. They're going to go for it when it's close. 4th and 2, stopping a big body like that. Finally, they abandoned. They have the past couple of weeks, but Breida, Zach Moss, you need that alpha running back in the playoffs. And Singletary looks really good. They got Knox, Gabe Davis, Beasley, Sanders healthy. They got Diggs. They got the weapons, and the defense is flying around. They got secondary pieces. Defense is playing well. Who knows what's going on with Kansas City's backfield? McKinnon looks pretty good, but there's Darrell Williams. Who knows what's going on with that? There's Clyde. And we've seen teams. You take away Kelsey, you take away Tyreek, and things get tough. +2.5. I've been on the Bills a lot this year. I love why I like some of these teams like the Bengals and the Bills and stuff. Obviously, the Chiefs can score 40 as well, but these teams can put up 40 plus in a playoff game, which is going to make it really, really tough for the other team to catch up and keep doing that. I think the Bengals and the Bills, yes, of course, KC can do it as well. We saw him do against the Steelers. I'm throwing that whole Steelers game away. We thought 12.5 was easy, stuff like that. But, man, I really like what I'm seeing from this Bills team. I think it's Bills-Bengals. So there's 2 dogs for me to start it off. But it was a fun game. Good win. They can't play any better.
Fred, you remember that message I sent you earlier?
Which one?
He's 2 for the one about the underdogs in the NFL. He's 2 for 3, and I guarantee you he ain't going to like the third one.
You're on 49ers, Pat.
Yeah.
Because we were opposite on all of them. Yeah.
I will say one thing though early before we even touch on that game. If the 2 guys are on the defense are out, I'm out on that game. If Bosa and Warner are both out.
Those are. I assume Bosa will play. Warner was jumping around too, but definitely you'd have to be off that. But we'll get to that. That's a good game.
Yeah, I think the Bills beat the Chiefs though. I just spread. You remember the other message we talked about? We talked about it on here. You brought it up. The Chiefs beat a bunch of bad teams all year. They only have like a few nice wins.
Yeah.
And the Bills are the team that built their team to beat the Chiefs. So
they did it earlier. They ran them off the field earlier in the year, which obviously doesn't mean too much. But you can have a little confidence in the locker room. It'll be a fun game. But there's 2 dogs.
It's going to be way better than this weekend.
This is the matchup they wanted. So this is where you got to make your money. Knock them out of the playoffs here.
Exactly.
Yeah, let's move on to another terrible game that could not keep my attention. But hey, the only good thing was I got most of my work done that I need to do for today during yesterday morning's game. Boy, what a stinker. Some of these guys, I don't know. I know Title and I disagree on this, but sometimes some of these games, we just don't even need to play them.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, the only thing I said, maybe the Eagles were kind of backdoor cover there, but I mean, this game wasn't even close at any point. It looked like, just 2 different levels of a team. Credit to the Buccaneers and Brady, keep rolling without Antonio Brown. It was just so much fun to fade the NFC East and make money. I mean, it's just an overrated conference because they obviously have the largest fan bases, but they're just not that good. And we saw that yesterday as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers smacked them up and down the field. Not as much on this one. What are your thoughts, Titletown?
Yeah, I don't have as much either. I mean, it was tough watching that game, being a Hurts backer, not necessarily a back. I mean, I am a backer, but like he gets so much slander throughout the whole industry. Like I feel a little more bullish and more potential than other people do. But man, watching that game, like I was in the wrong. Like all the guys slandering him, like he looked lost. They couldn't make a read. It wasn't just him. He has no weapons.
How do you throw it to guys that aren't open?
Yeah, no. So I'm with you. Like that's why I wanted to still bring him back and stuff. Like when Goddard and I don't even know, like Quez Watkins, I think were in the same area when he threw he was set up to fail, obviously, the whole time. I guess I saw this morning in Discord, he was in a walking boot at the stadium. Like his ankle was never 100% and never felt like it did in the beginning of the year. So he's already playing banged up. He's a runner on a bum ankle. He doesn't have weapons. Like the team needs to fix a lot. I still a believer. Like I don't know. I mean, he's not going to be a top 10 quarterback, but like there's so many bad, like I'd rather him over Bridgewater personally, which we talk about.
Of course.
Yeah, but like the Buccaneers won. They should win. This is not the same Buccaneers team as last year. I think we're going to see that. The thing is now they get a good matchup. Like give me the Rams or the Cardinals as a Packer fan over these 49ers any single day. Now the Buccaneers get it. So like, It'll be interesting. I'm not saying Bucs walk through whoever wins today. I was a little more bullish on the Cardinals. I got a little +4. I see +3.5 now. We'll get to that. Both these teams can score. It's not the same Buccaneers team. So, like, would I be surprised if they lose to one of these teams next week? No, but they definitely got the favorable matchup because I would have been all over the 49ers against the Bucs if that was the matchup too. So, good win. I agree. I wouldn't say the most boring game of the week, but then we got the night games. So like a lot of these, just like the favorites did what they were supposed to do.
It was terrible. It was two good games and 3 terrible games, but at least I was on the right side of them, right? I mean,
for sure. It's easy to make money and be okay with it when you make money and see the best teams win.
I mean, Philly hadn't beat anyone. I think they only beat one winning team going into the game. So it was just like, I don't know.
0-6 against playoff teams this year spread.
Yeah.
They finished the year playing Washington twice, the Giants twice, Denver, and some other bad team they finished up the year with when they went on that run. So that's where all them wins came from.
Yeah, well, at least next week we're not going to see anything like that. Let's talk about the game of the day. That was exciting. Nickelodeon puts on a great broadcast, right? So I got 2 TVs, so I put Nickelodeon on one, but I got tired of the announcers after a little while. So I had the normal announcers on the other one, but I still had all the fun and, SpongeBob and all that stuff.
It was fun, Spread. They did a good job. I saw the announcer the reporter, little kid interview Debo after.
Yeah,
that was really cool. Yeah,
it's cool. I thought it was cool overall. Like I enjoyed it, but I'm a kid at heart here, right?
For sure.
That's good. You cap sports for a living, right? You can't get too old, right? Just doing this all day. But anyways, let's get into the game. Wow, I just felt so vindicated in multiple ways. Jimmy Garoppolo, right? He threw one bad interception. But you can't tell me that he had the more talented team, right? He takes a less talented team on the road and gets the victory. The only advantage I'll say, and Tyler, you're not going to agree, this is a big advantage. He's got a way better coach.
Big advantage.
Way better coach. What is that dude doing on the sideline? And then Nickelodeon kept sliming him. It was perfect. And then Dak, right? Kind of what I've been saying, like, what was he doing running the ball there? Like, that's I guess you can come down to coaching, but at that point, right, like you got to know that's not really an option at that point in the game. 49ers get the win. They get it straight up. And Tyler, I was sweating, right? I was sweating because we didn't take the points. We took the money line. And the points were going to cover no matter what. You know how dumb I would have felt, right? Cowboys win that game by 1 point. I could have got an easy +3, but instead I had the money line. So, of course, I was pretty happy about that. Pretty happy to see the 49ers continue because, I'm saying, hey, this guy Jimmy G is a little better than everybody gives him credit for. I mean, the guy just keeps winning. May not put up all those other stats, but hey, you got to be impressed with his performance. That one interception aside, it shouldn't even been that close if he didn't throw that really bad interception. So, his detractors do still get a highlight to point to because, yeah, I would say that's virtually unacceptable. Start with you, Title. Like, what did you think? Are you ready to get a Jimmy G jersey and join the camp?
Yeah, so Jimmy G did what he had to do. I mean, a lot of it is like the coaching is huge. Like, put Jimmy G with Mike McCarthy or like a donkey like that, like you're screwed. You have zero chance. You don't have a game plan even coming into the game to succeed. The game plan is run the football, get Debo the ball, get your weapons the football, win at the line of scrimmage, make open passes. Like the passes he made a lot, the wide receivers were wide open. He missed a bad one, wide open. I think it was Ayuk that you gotta hit. That interception, like we're talking about, he played a great game up until then, but that one interception, which was, you can't make that throw. You just cannot, you can't miss that. But it did change like how the game went after that, but that literally could have been the season ending interception right there. Like the game was pretty much over. Like you just can't make that throw. But
all you had to do was run the ball at that point.
Exactly.
And they were running fine. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So like up until then though, he played a great game. He made big third down throws. Jawan Jennings, I believe Kittle won. Like he did what you got to do. He fits this team perfect. Not fit. Like I'd rather a lot of quarterbacks besides Jimmy G, but like he fits what the mold. He usually doesn't turn it over. They can run the football. He'll make fine throws on third down. As far as like the talent differences, yeah. I mean, I don't think it's as dramatic as we thought. Debo complete stud, Kittle complete stud, Ayuk stud, Mitchell, like they got them. Yeah, CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, Zeke, who I think's overrated. They got Pollard and stuff, but I mean, 49ers are athletic at skill positions. That's why next week's going to be so tough. But the huge thing is just coaching. Like I could have pointed to 5 different things Mike McCarthy did in that game that lowered their chance to win the football game. It shouldn't even have been that close. To be honest, like the one, like that running play, like that's the one thing. Like I understand it. I don't think it's the worst thing. Like they could have clocked it. Like if you're taught as a coach, which I don't know. Like of course, any Mike McCarthy coach team is not going to know this, but like. You're taught, quarterbacks should know it. Like when you slide and you need the ball spiked, like time's running down. You grab the ball, you hand it to the ref, you wait for the ref. Yeah. Like it's like that as a kid. I mean, obviously, maybe not growing up, but you know what I mean. Like we all know that. Like you got to get the ref the ball, he'll spot it, then you spike it. If they did that, there would have been 1 second, probably even 2 seconds on the clock. It's easier to have a 21-yard touchdown than it is a Hail Mary. So like I understood what Dak was doing, nothing was open, and they would have got it if. Mike McCarthy taught him how to do that, or like it's not at the end of the day, you can't just put that on Mike. Like you're a professional football player. Give him the ref the ball, you can do it. And they would have had one more play. Obviously, the result's probably the same. It sucks to see that game end like that, but
who knows though? With all these pass interference calls,
yeah,
right. Everyone's all bunched up. I mean, it's gonna be wild.
Exactly, but like you could go to Mike McCarthy punting when he did. Mike McCarthy. I mean, it's so even like the 2-point conversion I talked about, like. When they didn't, when they kicked the field goal to make it 23-17, you go for that. When it's 23-16, you go for 2 because there was still 8 minutes left. You have 3 timeouts. But if they kick a field goal, just say they drive 3 timeouts, you stop them for a field goal. And one person didn't agree in Twitter, but a lot of people understood it. I don't know if you guys thought about that right away. But 23-16, you go for 2 because if you don't get it, it's still a 7-point game. If you get it 23-18, there's still 8 minutes left. They go get a field goal. 26-18, it's still a 1-possession game. Whereas if they kick that field goal, obviously it didn't work out like that. But just things like that, a head football coach needs to know. Like that's easy analytics. There's no reason not to do that. And if they go and kick that field goal, the game's over. It's a 9-point game. Whereas there'd still be 3 timeouts left. And that could still be a really good ball game. 8-point game, 3 minutes left. Like you're in the game. So just little things like that. When he punted, he got lucky with that fake punt. Like what is the gunner doing for the 49ers turning your back? Like when all you're going to do is fair catch and you want the ball anyway. He got lucky on that fake punt. He made so many poor decisions that put them in a worse position to win the game than they should have. And I've been saying it for years. Obviously, I'm a Packer fan. I've been hating on this guy for probably 7 years now. And obviously people have been seeing it the past couple of years, but man, it's crazy to me how he can coach a decent football team, America's team on the biggest stage, and he still somehow gets his job. He's so bad. And coaching had something to do with that game.
We're in lockstep here, right?
Yeah.
First of all, Mike McCarthy's never won a Super Bowl. He watched Aaron Rodgers win a Super Bowl. And if it's never been more evident to anyone that Rodgers would have won more if they would have had a real coach, I mean, I don't know how you don't see it. I half expected Rodgers to walk down on that field after the game, and McCarthy should have had to take off his ring and just give it to him and be like, I don't even deserve this anymore. Like, it's so obvious how I won there.
Go ahead. Yeah, one more thing about the chat. I was looking at, like, what was after that fake punt conversion, what were they doing? Yeah, like, literally what, like what was – I literally still don't know to this – and they had to delay a game eventually, like, Tony Romo still like trying to make them call a timeout. Like, I think it was, I was like there was no reason. The defense was on the field. You just got the first down. Like, what is your punt formation team? Just little things like that. Like, how do you possibly mess it up? You get the conversion, you send your offense on. Like, he got lucky. The clock got reset, or the play clock, which is then why he set out his team and they still didn't get it off. But like little things like that. Like, he doesn't, as a coach, you have to be 5 steps ahead. He's not even 1 step ahead. He's 1 step behind. Like, he lets the play happen. It just does not make sense to me at all.
And for those just listening, not watching, Kevin Cloonan says the fake punt sums up the Cowboys. They convert the fake, then they leave the punt team out there to try and fool SF, and then they get a penalty.
I don't even like delay of what would they have fooled them with? Like, so ridiculous. What are they about to do?
Man, and so I'd say the only worst decision made, right? The only worst decision maker than Mike McCarthy is the person who hired that Mike McCarthy. So you get what you deserve, Dallas, because I mean, it's just unbelievable here. Penny says, I kind of see why he would run because they're expecting him to throw. Yeah, but like you said, time was limited. You have no timeouts. It was too risky. You got to go for the end zone there, especially if you're, you have the arm and the receivers that they do. Myron Kidd says, I'm so nervous for my Packers. We have a horrible playoff history against the 49ers. Example, monsters. Cap, young to TL, right? Okay, yeah, that's your generation's the catch, right? Unlike mine is Montana to Clark. Go ahead.
You see what Boboski said?
I haven't got down there yet. We got to get Blake's question real quick, and we'll start with you, Tyler, because we don't want to leave you out. You can answer this one. He says, how do you feel about Dak encouraging the fans to throw trash on the field? The refs blaming him. Don't see him as being that guy to lead the team to a Super Bowl. I've said it before. Dak is the NFL's James Harden. What's your thoughts on that one, Tyler?
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate it. Hopefully that loses him some votes in that comeback player of the year, and now Joe Burrow wins it. So that'd be nice. Yeah. But, I mean, for this game, though, I mean, San Fran played the game we wanted outside of the interception. This should have been 23-10. Mm-hmm. Now, I know Title talked about he would have backed San Fran against Tampa Bay next week. I think Tampa, like, the way this all lined up, I don't think San Fran's a good matchup for Tampa because they run the ball.
Yeah.
Tampa has the best run defense. Like, the way to beat Tampa is you got to take these corners out for them. And that's a Cardinals, that's a Rams, even a Packers team. Not the Niners that are going to run it down your throat. But
interesting.
It's going to be weird next week. If they don't get the guys back on defense, Bosa and Warner, they're definitely in trouble. I think they lose then. But if they're back, I mean, just give me the money line. Kyle Shanahan over Matt LaFleur. They just said it in the chat. The history in this matchup, like, this wouldn't surprise me. This team also hasn't had a hiccup since week 1. No team goes from week 2 till the Super Bowl without having one more off game. It's coming.
72 Dolphins.
Don't surprise me if it's right here.
It has to be right here, I think, because I don't see. I don't see the Buccaneers.
It's the week off after, like, you rolled from week 2 on. Like, it's just that I could see them starting slow. And if the Niners do what they did to the Cowboys, couple 8 to 9 minute drives ending a touchdown, like, it's like, here we go again. They're playing from behind. So it's going to be a fun one to watch.
The big thing, like, so Packers, they're getting Bakhtiari back. They're getting Jair back. They're getting Za'Darius back. Like they're finally, and yeah, it's been a while, so who knows? But they're finally getting the guys back that we really haven't. I mean, Packers have played hurt a lot of the year and been here, but I agree with you. I mean, Debo, Kittle, Mitchell, like Shanahan. Yeah, I think LaFleur. I'm not saying fake sharp, but like LaFleur is looked at as a better coach than he is because of Rodgers and stuff.
Yes,
and it's a fact. So I hear you. It's a scary game.
It's gonna be a fun one to watch. Like
oh,
just like I said about the Cincinnati game, this one's probably the same way. Whoever wins this game is probably going to the Super Bowl.
It'll be fun.
I like Tyler coming with the takes today.
I agree with that. I really do.
Unless Tom Brady just does it to Aaron Rodgers again. That's the only thing I can see happening.
That's just a different man. Like, if he did it to Rodgers this year, I'd be
if one of the two teams playing tonight makes the Super Bowl, I'll have to eat it because they're both frauds.
Yeah, wow. Okay, I can't wait to get into that. I'm gonna go check in on the chat real quick. You asked about Bobski's comment. I scrolled down and read it. He says McCarthy said post game they had another play with the special teams. It was a double play package. What were they going to do with the punt team? He needs to be fired. He should have never been hired. I mean,
it's
unbelievable, unbelievable.
And if they had another play,
Jerry Jones should make an executive decision and fire him and hire Brian Flores right now.
Can you imagine?
Hire anybody. Hire you, Tyler.
Before his rival in his division, the Giants, hire him and trade their 2 first-round picks to Houston for Deshaun Watson.
Can you imagine that? Flores wants Watson. He might end up in Houston.
He's going to – wherever Flores go, I think, is where Watson ends up. So if Philly just randomly fires their head coach after making the playoffs, they're probably going to hire Flores and trade for Watson too because they're another team linked to him.
Yeah, Rob Sports says Cowboys got to be the only team in the NFL who take the dusty Zeke over Pollard. Myron Kidd's talking about Mostert. Yeah, that was rough. And Hawk Dark says that Bosa was fine. He was celebrating with the guys in the locker room. I hope so because I'd rather see the teams at full strength.
I think he'll play too.
But I'm not a Packers fan, right? And I don't really have any money either.
I'm with you though. Like you don't want to see them play beat up teams. You want to see the best teams at full strength play. So I want to see him play.
Unless I had the Packers like 10-1, then I might.
Well, yeah, if you got that's fair.
All right, there's not much to talk about in the night game except for maybe my hot take. You're gonna say, okay, this game proved right. What was Tomlin doing? He was dragging a 4-12 team to the playoffs. That was what he was doing. This team is terrible. The quarterbacking was terrible. Remember when you guys said
actually spread the guy who was dragging this team to the playoffs was the guy that batted the ball up into the interception and then ran the touchdown in.
Yeah, he was the only guy on the field, right? And remember when you guys said, this is the worst offensive line in football? I go, no, they're not the worst. They're not the worst. I don't know. You guys might have been right. I mean, this team is terrible. I felt like it was a win for Tomlin. You looked at the talent difference on that field. It looked like the varsity scrimmage in the JV before the homecoming game in high school. I mean, that's pretty much all I have to say. I don't downgrade Tomlin for that. I thought this team is so bad. I can't believe he made the playoffs with them, right? I mean, talent-wise, it had to be like, they're even worse than Philly. At least Philly's got linemen. Well, what do you think, Title?
Yeah, I was messing with you about the Tomlin thing because, like, I've said it. Last show did I said, is this the worst playoff team to ever make the playoff? Like, I think it is. Like, Big Ben, has there ever been a bottom 5 quarterback in the NFL? And bottom 5 might even be nice, like, to lead their team to the playoffs. Like, Big Ben is just awful at this point in his career. The line, just everything about it, it's a really bad football team at the end of the day in the playoffs. So, I hit Kansas City minus 12.5. I teased them. I hit them every single way you could. I said it was the best bet of the week. Nothing surprised me. I'm not bumping the Chiefs. I mean, if anything, the Chiefs started slow. You start slow and play like that in the first quarter against Josh Allen and the Bills, sure, maybe it could still be easy. But, Josh Allen could put up 14, even 21 early, and then it's going to be really tough. So, I'm not upgrading the Chiefs or any of that. The Steelers – Big Ben, I guess, went out and he made a playoff game, so good for him. TJ Watt, it sucks. That dude's a complete stud. He changes football games, but man,
that's a good organization. They'll turn it around quick.
Oh, a quarterback. You find a quarterback, you can change the slogan.
And you need linemen, a lot
for sure. But I'll at least start with the quarterback. You could give me the best offensive lineman and still Big Ben, or what they got at O-line right now and a different quarterback, and I'll take the quarterback. But I do hear you.
No, yeah, obviously quarterback by far the most important position in sports. Tyler, how are the Yinzers dealing with the loss? I hope
They
not
were
too
on a
many
roller
wives didn't get
coaster
to
in
the
that
game.
first half spread. TJ Watt ran that touchdown in, and they swore they had a chance at winning that game.
Yeah.
and then Mahomes threw 5 touchdowns in 11 minutes of gameplay and just took it all away from them.
Unbelievable, huh?
I mean, I expected it. It's good that Ben's finally done. He should have been done before this year because then we would have had a higher draft pick. We wouldn't have been in this spot. Now they're sitting in the mid-teens to the 20s. They're going to try like hell to draft Kenny Pickett for some reason. I don't think they should. They should draft the highest center on the board if they can get him, or just another offensive lineman that's the highest rated. They need to work on that. Trade for Minshew, Bridgewater, Tyler Huntley, somebody. You can get a different guy in there. Don't start one of the backups either. But outside of that,
an off season.
I mean, they already said they're not getting into the Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers sweepstakes, so it's going to be a couple years before they get good, unless they strike gold on a quarterback, which I don't see them doing.
Yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting, but wasn't a very fun game. Anything more about the weekend's game before we jump into tonight?
Next week's are going to be fun.
Yeah, I was about to say that's pretty much it. Next week's are going to be fun.
Well, you guys wanted to let me know, and was not to do full breakdowns, but I think I kind of already heard from it. Let me pull up these lines. If you were to bet now for the 3 games we already have, where would you go? Start with you, Tyler. I just pulled it up. Bengals are +3 right now on Bookmaker. Titans are juiced -3. What are you thinking?
I'm parlaying all 3 money lines of the dogs.
But you like of the dogs. Okay.
Yeah,
well, then I don't have to ask you all of them. Then I'll title the rest of them.
Give me the Bengals, give me the Niners, and give me the Bills.
Title, where are you going in this one?
Yeah, no, I say money. I'm on Bengals and Bills, and I would take the money line too because I think they do win outright. As far as the Niners, yeah, I mean that's probably the side. I'm not betting it, of course.
5.5 now.
Yeah. I mean, Niners are probably the side in betting. I probably would take the money line. I think the Packers win. I do, but it's going to be a dogfight. It's going to be a grind. I'm just going to watch and enjoy it as a fan. I have enough at stake in best ball and all that. But, man, I think the 49ers plus, I mean, parlaying all 3 dogs, I think makes a lot of sense. I really
15-1. All the favorites won this week.
This kid's been hitting 30 to 1s. I don't know how much you've been on Twitter this week, Title. This kid's on fire, man. I'm surprised he's not wearing a suit on the show today. I thought he would have had a custom made by now.
$25 into $750 or something. Yeah. I saw that was nice.
The kid's on fire. Let's keep it rolling. Let's keep it rolling tonight. Arizona Cardinals have taken a little money, it looks like. They're now +3.5 in Los Angeles on the Rams. First Monday Night Football game, playoff game in history, or maybe it happened before I was born, but I don't ever remember it happening. So that's real exciting. I think it's fun. I like that they did that. So, right, Title. I'm not an all anti-football guy. I just don't want to watch the Eagles and the Steelers, man. Come on. But this should be a fun one tonight. I like the Rams, but there's part of me this is kind of weird when you wait to make the bets. It's can the favorites just win every single game? I mean, the only reason it's kind of funny is because the Niners were this huge public dog. Right, by the time Sunday came and everybody was on the Niners, I was just kind of "Ooh, I don't know." I'm a little worried about that. Right, that's never good when everybody is on the Niners. Just a quick breakdown of the game. They played twice. They split the games. We know how these teams match up. Of course, the Rams have a pretty good defense. The Cardinals can be attacked through the air sometimes, but they have a very strong offense. And Kyler Murray, you can't count that guy out. I mean, 3rd and 12, he's still a threat on the ground. Should be a great game tonight. Title, you know what? I liked the Rams earlier in the week, but as it's gone on, I'm not as sure in my convictions that they win this game. I'm not really sure how I'm going to approach this. So we'll start with you just from a side and total perspective. And I didn't even give out the total, excuse me for that. 49.5. How are you approaching that game?
Yeah, this is the game. We broke it down last Monday. This was the one game that I thought was by far the hardest. And I don't think I'm the only one in this boat. A lot of these spreads were kind of big, and the Niners and Cowboys, we thought it made a lot of sense. NFC East team, the Niners can run the ball, this stuff. These two are so close, and they're getting a big thing for me was the Cardinals are getting J.J. Watt back, and who knows what J.J. Watt is going to be. They said he rehabbed really well, and this Cardinals defense was really, really tough earlier in the year when they were healthy. And then I saw Cardinals +4. I think, I think the Rams are kind of frauds. I think the Cardinals are kind of frauds. I'm higher on Kyler than I think you guys are really. He has weapons. Yeah, he has Kirk. He has Wesley. He has Ertz. He has Connor. Like, he has some weapons, but I think it's a coin flip game. And when I got +4 with it, and I know they can put up a lot of points, I think their defense is going to give some problems to the Rams. Like, +4, now it's +3.5. But a lot of people are on the Rams, which also makes me like the Cardinals a little more. I'm going to stick with the Cardinals. I bet on +4. It's not the most confident. It's not like I bet the same as I did on the Chiefs and stuff, but +3.5 now. I think it's a coin flip game. I think the Cardinals can come in and do it. I think their defense is going to look pretty good. Get to Stafford a little bit. And yeah, I don't think this Rams team is that great, to be honest.
Wow. All right. Hot take, because I was leaning towards the Rams. But see, you make some good points. And the things that you talked about, are kind of the reasons why, I haven't gone heavy here with Los Angeles. And then let's be honest, we saw it yesterday, right? You might want those 3 points, right? Because even if Dallas won, right? I mean,
today I'm taking the
cover
points
with the 3. Niners were going to cover with the 3.
Yeah, this game I want the +4. Like, I'm not doing money line, and money line could work, of course, but I think it's going to be a really close game. The +4, which I got, even the +3.5, I feel better with that for sure. So I'm with the points in this game, whereas I like the money lines for the Bengals and the Bills and stuff like that. So I think that's a good point.
All right, Tyler, how are you handicapping what you've termed the battle of the frauds?
Yeah, Title already touched on it. They're both frauds. I'm a little opposite of him. I think the Cardinals are more frauds than the Rams. Mind you, Stafford has screwed up a lot this year, but Kyler is just not the same player without DeAndre Hopkins on the field. Their offensive line's bad. He's going to be running for his life tonight. The running backs are also banged up. Connor's also a game-time decision. He might not play, so they might be relying on Eno Benjamin to run more. So I got to take the –
Chase Edmonds is playing too. They're both banged up, but –
yeah, I think they'll both play, but it's one of them things how much production are we going to get out of them? Are these guys going to play a few drives and then both be in the locker room? So it's just one of them things that worries me. And you look on the Rams side, it's like they have Sony Michel, Cam Akers is back, Darrell Henderson's still around, but he's not doing anything. So I see Van Jefferson having a big game in the the passing game, because they're going to key on Cooper Kupp. They're going to do everything they can to stop him. You look at Van Jefferson's game against the Cardinals this year. He had 90 and a touchdown, and he had 60 and a touchdown. Mm-hmm. You could bet him to score a touchdown. The Rams win the game at +310. You could also get his yards over about 45.5. So I like both of those. And then the other one I was looking at, we said their running backs are banged up for the Cardinals. It's a playoff game. I know he hasn't run the ball as much this year, but all that's out the window right here with the season on the line in this wild card game. Kyler Murray over 6.5 rushing attempts. I think we got to bet. He ran
attempts rather than yards, huh?
He ran 10 times and 6 times against the Cardinals or against the Rams this year. Now a playoff game with a banged up backfield. He's going to run the ball a ton here, I think.
What are the yards? So you like the attempts more than the yards, but just real quick.
Yards are 39.5. My worry is he runs for 2 yards and 2 yards just to scamper out of bounds and not lose yards.
And not get sacked.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's my thing there, why I take the rush attempts.
All right. I'm going to ask a couple questions from the chat. Penny says he likes Ertz anytime TD and Higbee anytime TD. A little love for the tight ends there. What are your thoughts on that one, Tyler?
Yeah, I don't hate the tight end love. I really like Van Jefferson tonight, though. I could see the Cardinals just going all out to stop Cooper Kupp, and Van Jefferson breaks one over the top. I know we've liked some Odell props recently with the Rams, but just the timing with him and Stafford just isn't there. I think he's going to look more to Van Jefferson here. And I know title's on the Cardinals here, but my hope here is that the Rams just absolutely thrash them so we could get a nice price on the Bucs next week. If they do what the Bills did to the Pats, that would be beautiful. Because then the Bucs are going to be -1.
All right. Jonathan Nelson makes a great point. He says everyone should go grab that Keg live show package, of course, available through runpurebets.com. We will be live tonight giving out winners. Jonathan Nelson, I think you guys were 4-1 yesterday. Correct me if I'm wrong. Throw those stats in the chat, and I will get them on the screen for everybody, because if you're not getting involved with that, you are definitely missing out. So we've gone over the game. We've gone over the side. Did we have thoughts on the total?
I'm going to stay away from the total. I really
over.
got
I know it's square, but
that's where I would lean.
I lean under a little, to be honest.
Okay, why is that? Why would you think it would go under?
Well, the reason I like the Cardinals and the +4 a little bit is like I think this defense is going to give Stafford some problems. I think Watt gets pressure. I think Chandler Jones gets pressure. Like this Rams team hasn't been the same. So like if I think the Cardinals play pretty well, like I'm not expecting Kyler to go drop 35, 40 points or whatever like the Bills did. Like the reason I like the Cardinals because I'm relying on their defense a little bit, and I think the offense will get enough, but I think this is going to be a good defensive football game. I think field position is going to be important. I can just see, obviously, two teams that Matthew Stafford, Kyler Murray, Cooper Kupp, like all the weapons and stuff. I think people are looking at that a lot, but still a playoff football game, and I think the defenses are a little more stingy than others. So I lean the under. I'm probably not going to bet it. I think the +4 is all I'm going to have, but a lot of people, and that's I don't know if my brain works with like that, but like I hear Rams over, like that's what I hear, like consensus from a lot of people, and sometimes I just like being on the other
because
side.
that's the whole weekend, right? The whole weekend's been favorites and the over,
Exactly,
right?
yeah.
So,
but it's not a strongly.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get involved in the total either. I think it is a tough one, and maybe you're right. You know, this probably will have a little better playoff feel than say like that game last night, which. To be honest, it didn't feel like a playoff game. It felt like a crappy Sunday night football game. So let's at least hope for that. And you know what else we'll hope for, Title, is that for you to give us some winners right now. I have it pulled up, NFL Showdown. You can either, if you want to go cheap, there's a $3 one. There's to win $100K. There's also a $20 one to win $1 million on DraftKings. That's what we're trying to do, Title. How do we approach this?
So right away, you know how what I like to do. The first thing I look at is I always like underdog. Can I stomach an underdog 4-2 build? Well, it's easy.
Yeah,
I think the underdog wins. So like 4-2 build easy. I'm gonna have some Arizona 5-1 builds today, because I think they can win. They have the weapons and all that stuff. So right away, I know I'm gonna be playing in this single entry build, 4 Cardinals or 5, which makes it easy. Right away, Kyler Murray, if I'm playing the Cardinals to win, his rushing upside, all of it, like he has a ceiling. Cooper Kupp has a ceiling, stuff like that. But pretty much those two have a ceiling that's unmatched in this game. So Kyler Murray is going to be my core number 1. We'll wait on whether we put him at captain or we put him at flex, depending on the other spots.
Okay.
Actually, I'm going to put him at captain right now because I'll give out the one core. It was debating Cooper Kupp and all that, but Tyler likes Van Jefferson. We're doing it. We're trying to win $1 million. If the Cardinals sell out on Cooper Kupp, Van Jefferson's probably going to have a good game. He has a lot of upside. We still need Rams in our lineup. I think the Cardinals win, so that means Rams will be playing from behind a little bit. It'll be a close game, but they still will be throwing a lot. So 5.2K Van Jefferson, Kyler and the captain, that makes it easy. Then we got to pair Kyler Murray with some people. They got 3 good options that I might have all 3 in my lineup, probably at least 2 of the 3. I mean, they actually got 4 weapons, but they got Christian Kirk, good price, 7K. I like it. Zach Ertz, 6'2". People are talking about the tight ends in chat. I think that makes a lot of sense. AJ Green, who's probably my least favorite at 5.8K, but I think he makes some sense. Then they got this Anton Wesley guy who's 1.8K. I saw someone in chat too. Tony Johnson said Wesley over 25 yards. I like that bet. Wesley's 1.8K. This Wesley guy can play. Kyler Murray likes him. He's going to be on the field running routes. So he was going to be my third core that I was going to plug in right away. 1.8K. Wesley, you get to pair him. And then you just pick your favorite wide receiver, Kirk, Ertz, or AJ Green. We have the money to spend. Christian Kirk is the number 1. It's a coin flip. I usually 150 showdown, so I'll mix them all in. But for the sake of the show, I'm gonna say Christian Kirk as my 4th core. Kyler Murray, Christian Kirk, Wesley, and Van Jefferson. You have all the money in the world. You can throw Cooper Kupp in there. You can throw.
Does it worry you about Wesley that all of his playing time and offensive snap percentage and catches all came with Rondale Moore inactive in all those games, and he's back tonight?
I to be honest, I'm expecting more snaps still from Wesley over Moore. I think he's over him now, and I think Kyler and him do have good rapport.
You definitely could be right, but that's the only thing that worries me is he was there all year, didn't draw any of the snaps before, and then once he got hurt, he got his couple snaps.
For sure. It's something that came to my head. I'm too confident that like I'm just watching the guy and like Cliff, how do you take this guy off the field? Like, and Rondale's been beat up and all, and even before Rondale got hurt, like he wasn't what they thought they were gonna be. So a little bit, I still like the over there. I like it. But if you're just say you are worried about that, this core has so much money. Van Jefferson, Kirk, Kyler, that okay, then play Zach Ertz there. Play AJ Green there. It would be 2 pass catchers with Kyler for sure. I'm gonna say Kirk, but if you're a little nervous about Wesley, put either Ertz or AJ Green in that core. There's still Van Jefferson. You still have all the money in the world. So I'm gonna go 4-2 Cardinals. That's the ownership always shifts too because favorites people like playing more. But give me the Cardinals 4-2, even some 5-1 builds. Kyler will be my captain. I like your Van Jefferson call. Makes sense. Leverage off of Cooper Kupp. And then pick your 2 favorite Arizona pass catchers.
All right. And I don't want to go too deep into it, but it's like when you go into the Saber Sim, you just set your rules, like give me 4 Cardinals.
Yeah. So the way on Saber Sim, that's the easiest. After you run your builds, there's like just say you run 20 or something. It pops up and it says team stacks. I believe it is where on the Showdown. So you click on the team stacks button, and then it'll show you it'll show 5-1 builds. Like you can click 5 player, 4 player, 3 player, 2 player, and then it'll say like 10% of lineups. So like just say 5 lineups, 10% of them are Cardinals 5-1 stacks. Cardinals 5 players. They'll say 10%. I don't know if you have Saber Sim up right now.
I don't have it up right now, but I'm listening.
So once you run it, you get your lineups. Click team stacks, then you'll see it says like 5 players, 4 players, 3 players, 2 players, 1 players. And just say right now I click the 5 players. I see Cardinals. I'm only getting 4% of lineups with them at 5-man stacks. I'll put that number and I'll set the min exposure. Just say I'll bump it manually to 15%. And then it'll redo whatever the lineups are in that pool. It'll grab more lineups and then it'll force in at least 15% 5-1 Cardinal stack. So that's how I do it on Saber Sim. After you build, in the second step, you can see all that. And just say, like, I have 25% Rams 5-1 stacks. And I'm like, I don't want any Rams 5-1 stacks. You go to the max exposure, you put that at 0, it'll take out all 5-1 stacks. So that's how I do it.
Yeah, well, I think you got a pretty good pretty good method there. So don't be surprised. That's what I meant to say. If you see Titletown and the RPS logo at the top
that's
of the leaderboard tonight. Tyler, any more thoughts on this? Was there any guys that, I don't know if you pulled up the DraftKings. Was there any people that you think that, right, if you want to get different than title, right, and you're like, man, I got to be different than the big guy somehow. Is there any players you think that we kind of glossed over that maybe we should consider?
No, I think he touched on everybody. My guy would have been Van Jefferson in this spot. I just think
he put him in there, so we're
good.
I
just think it's going to be one of them things. They're just going to do everything in their power to force them to go somewhere else with the ball. And he's going to break loose a few times. Wouldn't be surprised if he catches like a 50-yard touchdown.
I'll be overweight on kickers too. I think it's a good playoff.
Interesting.
I think it's playoff football. I think it's close. I lean under a little bit. Like it makes all the sense.
And is there any other quarterbacks that'll drive you down the field, like when they have the whole field to work with, and then they get in the red zone, they just stall out?
Exactly.
It's these 2 guys. Yeah, you just got to pray to God they don't throw interceptions when they're down there, and you get the field goals out of the kickers.
Yep, in a dome too. Like I always love my kickers. What did big boy Daniel Carlson do?
You know what they're calling him around here? Legatron.
Legatron, I like
it. All right. Yeah, Nick said he's not worried about Wesley with Rondale Moore coming back. And just a quick summary, he just basically said when you watch what he's putting on tape, and we know how much these guys love their film in the NFL, it's hard to take.
And he's 1.8. Like if he gets you 6 points, he could be on the winner. Obviously, we know a Showdown works, but like I'm not expecting 20+ points from him, but I still think he gets good run.
All right. And Jonathan Nelson checked in. Thank you for doing that, Jonathan, because Tyler and I are done for the day, right? We usually do NBA around 3:30 Eastern, but we're done. So, your next Run Pure Bets content will be coming from the live show. They went 4-on-1 Saturday, plus a bunch of UFC winners. Yesterday, another 4 units more profit. Overall, the new live show, which has only been around, 10 days, is up over 15 units through the first 5 shows. So, Jonathan Nelson, I don't know what better advertisement I can give than simply reading those numbers. All right, guys, we've made it through Super Wildcard Weekend. We've made a winning lineup. We've given out some prop bets. Titletown, anything else you've got to say about the NFL before we sign off?
I'm nervous, but go Pack, go! This is the year.
Yeah, well, you got a
Aaron
whole
Rodgers.
week to be nervous. See,
Of course, it happens on Saturday too. Like I wanted the Sunday game. We got Cyril gone. We got Francis. Like I wanted, like all my attention will be on that anyway. But now, like I have to split my attention. So I was hoping we get it on Sunday, but Saturday night it's going to be a lot of fun. All these games, like man, like as boring as last week was, I think a lot of us we took our money. We were on the same sides a lot. You take your cheese, you move on, but we're going to see some good football games this week.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the great thing about betting on sports, right? Because I came on the show and I said we don't need this extra wild card team because
but I'll
not
take
that
it.
Many quality football teams. So what am I going to do? I'm going to fade those two teams because I didn't think they deserved to be playing this weekend. They should have been with me, hanging out. We had some chicken wings. I mean, it was a great time, right? But I mean, they didn't need to be on the field. We didn't need to watch that. Tyler, do you want to remind everyone to like the video? Because for all the work we've been putting in, man, I mean, I overslept. I'm watching the Australian Open all night. We're still bringing you the info. What you got for the people before we sign off, Tyler?
Yeah, I mean, just tune into the live show and then be back tomorrow. We'll be back with another NBA rundown. Hopefully, we get some of these plays home, and then we'll get the NFL plays home also. So just tune into everything.
Yeah,
hit the like buttons for spread. Hit the like button.
And just like my takes on Jimmy, my takes on Dak, my takes on the Eagles, and my takes on Tomlin, I hope you all run pure.